This episode of the In-N-Out Weekly Comics Pull List is not sponsored by In-N-Out Burger. But boy, do I wish it was. All right, everyone, thanks for coming to see another episode of the In-N-Out Weekly Comics Pull List. Share name only, has nothing to actually do with In-N-Out Burger other than I buy In-N-Out Burger every week because I love In-N-Out. This is not a paid endorsement. This is a longtime fan endorsement of a great company that makes a great product. It's delicious. This is episode 22 on May 22. It's almost like they planned it that way. Just like the dogs plan to go in and out the doggy door as I'm recording every time. It's just part of their agenda. This week, Marvel comic number ones, there's only 2 number ones. I was going through the list of Marvels and I was like, wow, are we going to finally have a week where Marvel doesn't have a number one? Is that possible? And I was like, silly Ash, of course it's not. That War of the Realms is still out. So of course there's going to be a number one every week. And Star Wars, they still make Star Wars comics. Disney owns Star Wars, so they're going to have a number one for that every week. So have no fear. If they don't have another comic number, these will always be making number ones. I don't know how many War of the Realms miniseries they're going to make. This one is Land of the Giants. It was so long, it went underneath my arrow. I try to draw these little arrows, and then I should have realized that Marvel comic titles now are just beyond long. War of the Realms, Strike Force, The Land of the Giants. Oh my goodness. So this week, there were 25 offerings, 25 comic books from Marvel, unique comics. 2 of them were over number 20. Out of 25. Only 2 of them were over number 20. And if you count all the variants, there's a total of 49. So if you wanted to buy everything that Marvel does and getting all the variants, you'd get 49 issues, 49 comics. Only 3 of them would be over number 20. This is what Marvel's been doing. Hashtag walk away from Marvel. They're fleecing their customer base. This is not even a testimony to the quality of Marvel comics. Obviously, Marvel's got a ton of bad comics that they make these days. And I hear a lot of people tell me, but Ash, they're making some good stuff. You know, Venom's good. Immortal Hulk is good. Oh, Daredevil's good. Okay, sure. They've got maybe 5 good comics out of over 100 that they make every week. This is not about the creators. This is about a publishing company that is... It's not just trying to make money from you. Every business should try to make money. They're not doing it the honorable way. They're doing it the slimeball way. And they're milking you for your fandom, for your loyalty to the books, and to the business that they used to have that we all used to love. Conversely, a company like In-N-Out earns my business every week by making a good burger. The week that they make a shitty burger, or the week that they sell me their burger for $8 instead of $4, may be the week I stop going to In-N-Out Burger. They earn my business week after week after week. I'm loyal to them because they do great business, not because I'm just loyal. And this is why I don't buy Marvel Comics anymore, because they just expect me to give them money for a lazy, crappy product. You know, put it another way, if In-N-Out Burger only made a burger good once, let's say out of every 20 burgers, that'd be 5%. I mean, would I go there? No. They make a good burger, 99 out of 100 times. Like it's so flip-flopped. Anyways, let's get on with the unboxing. Oh boy, this is my favorite part of the day. Oh, they laid it down. That's unusual. Or did it fall down? I don't think it fell down. Oh, it's all sloppy because this is why they don't lay it down usually, I guess. Get my thumb in my burger. Don't say, oh, gross, Ash, what are you doing? This is my burger. I'm not sticking my fingers in your burger. Oh, look at that. I get ketchup on the spread. Normally they put it on the top bun, but I like it mixed with the spread. It just adds to the flavor. So I'm going to put this aside. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to eat this. I'm tired of waiting. And then through the magic of video editing, it'll be like, poof, you won't even have to wait. Man, damn. That was a good burger. Thanks for waiting. Put the silver aside. So, as always, I'm here with Stan the Man. Today, Stan has a monster dragon tea. I love dragons. And it's yerba mate tea. I have never tried this. Sergeant Batts swears by yerba mates. And not the monsters. I don't think he's ever drank the monster ones, to my knowledge. But he'll probably say this is shit. No, this isn't a real. But whatever. He likes yerba mate. That's all I'm saying. So I thought I would give this a try because I love dragons, as I said. Did I say I like dragons? And Stan likes dragons. And he likes monsters. And he likes comics. And speaking of monsters and comics and dragons, here's my YouTube of what I've been watching lately. I wanted to comment on a few things before I get to the pull list for today. I watched a couple videos, and it was making me think as I was driving. No, I wasn't watching them as I was driving, I should say. I was listening to them. I listen to a lot of YouTubers, like podcasts. I don't actually necessarily watch their stuff. A lot of them do stuff like me where, yes, you can see that I'm pointing a camera at YouTube, but you don't need to actually see. So my point is, I want to start here with Clint, who's Sweetcast. You may know him as Clint Stoker. He always makes fun of his name. He's like, dude, Clint Stoker is a fucking badass name. I feel like it's a pen name if I didn't know it was real. He's like, oh, I guess I could be. Anyways, Clint, stop degrading your name. Your name's badass. Why aren't all comic creators treated like legitimate creators? Now, he's done a full video on this. You obviously want to watch his video, but I thought I was just commenting on it. I was like, I'll just take a address. He talks about in this video the elephant in the room, which is you got people like, well, Ethan is treated probably like a real creator, but let's say your boy Zach. He does a video and it makes over $400,000, generates revenues over $400,000. He's doing a reprint that's I think over 100,000. They're making waves. And he goes into a lot more detail in his video, so I'm not going to try to explain it all. But the point is these indie creators that are on Indiegogo and so forth are making some legitimate statements with the revenues that they're making based on how small they are. If Marvel Comics sells a comic, actually, if Marvel Comics makes $400,000 on a comic, I'm going to be impressed these days. So it's nothing to slouch about. But why aren't they treated like legitimate creators and legitimate comics? Why does the, surrounding industry, the media and stuff, just ignore them? Well, he makes a good point in this video, and I encourage you to watch it. But I do have a little bit of a response to this. And that is, if I go back to the late 80s and the early 90s, one of my favorite I was really kind of a fan of indie comics. Indie comics have been around for a while. This is nothing new. Two fellows named Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird created a very small comic. You've probably never heard of it. It's called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, they worked on this comic for months and months. It came out, I believe, quarterly in the beginning. So this book, by the time I got a hold of it, and it did come out before I was getting into comics. But anyways, by the time I got a hold of it, it was the first issue. I was number 7. It had been almost 2 years. These guys had been making comics. Now, shortly thereafter, I believe when it was in the teens, they got a commercial, the cartoon. It was maybe a year later. It wasn't very long after that, that they got a cartoon, and it just blew up. And of course, now everyone knows the history of Teenage Mutant. Everyone knows who Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are. Generations later, right? There are people that bought Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the shelf that have grandkids now that love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But my point is, these guys weren't treated like legitimate creators for years. For years. Even though they were popping comics on the shelf, even though Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was one of the hottest comics, that number 1 because of its rarity, back in the day was worth hundreds of dollars, which in the 80s, that was a big deal to have a comic that was a year old be worth $800 or something stupid, whatever it was. They still weren't treated like legit creators. The comic community at large just treated him as like, oh, whatever. That's indie comics. So now we've fast forward to today, and we've got indie comic creators like Clint has joined. He's got his own comic. I believe it may still be up on Indiegogo. It's called Downcast. He's got a lot of support for it. Looks like he's doing a really good job. You should not expect, and I say this respectfully, but you should not expect to be treated like a legitimate creator. I'm not saying you're not a legitimate creator. There's a difference between being one and being treated like one. And to speak on Clint's comic, it's not out yet. He's made some money. He's made a respectable amount of money. He's got a lot of supporters on it, and I wish him well. I want him to be a millionaire. I want him to break out and everyone read this book and be like, oh my God, it's the best thing ever. Maybe he'll have a cartoon on it. Maybe he'll break out and be the next Kevin Eastman. I don't know. But my point is right now, you're not that. Your book's not out yet. You're still an indie guy. And a lot of these guys that are going on Indiegogo and they're getting a lot of support, make comics for years. Establish your name as a brand. When most people in the comic book industry know who Clint Stoker is, or know who they all know who Richard C. Meyer is because of his controversy stuff, but know him for his work, that's when you're a legit creator. No one should expect to be considered in the same category as Tom King, Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, even Ethan Van Sciver, regardless of what you think your talent is or their talent is. Anyways, that's kind of I just want to get my input on that. I don't know if Clint's going to read or watch my video. But if you watch it, which I encourage you to do because it's good, now you know what my 2 cents are. And then there's my girl Tristan from Nerdette's Nerd Shack, which I like to call it. It's actually Nerdette's Newsstand. But she did a cool video that caught my attention, and I like to watch her stuff. DC Comics, Batman Comics says goodbye to Tom King? What? Now, this is a rumor. She quotes some articles from Rich Johnson. No slight against Tristan, but, I think she understands what I'm saying. And this caught my attention. And thanks, Tristan, for reporting. I had no idea. So she is on the scene with this. Watch her video. She's got lots of subscribers, and you can get some more. But I wanted to bring this to your guys' attention in case you're one of the few people that watch my channel and not hers for some reason. This is kind of shocking if this is true. Now, it still has not been officially announced by DC. So there is a possibility that this is a bunch of hogwash. Tristan does admit that. But there's a lot of supporting elements to believe that the rumors are true and that his final run will be on Batman 85. Now, a lot of people are going to cheer. I can hear Sergeant Bats being like, yes. I can hear a lot of people. I actually kind of side with Tristan's thoughts on this. So I don't necessarily like what he's been doing with Batman, but I do recognize that he is a talented person. I do recognize that he seems to be going through some issues in his head that he's bringing out onto the page. Whether purposefully or not, I don't know. But I don't wish any ill will to the guy. I know he's done some things that I hate. I hate what he's done with Wally West. I hate what he's doing with Batman. But I don't have any ill will towards Tom personally. I have never witnessed Tom be a dick to fans. I have not witnessed him, jump on the dog pile like a lot of these other creators do when it's bashing Comicsgate and all this stuff. I witnessed this guy being positive about comics, being positive about Batman, and if he's screwing it up and he's doing a terrible job, that I can separate the two. I can say I don't like what you're doing, Tom, but that doesn't make me hate you, right? I hope that you get another chance on another book. If this is all true, I hope you get another chance on another book and you knock it out of the park like you started with your Batman run. You started off this Rebirth Batman hitting a home run, in my opinion. And I hope you get back to that point and you can bring up another title and show everyone, hey, I can write. So here's to that. Watch Tristan's video. She talks more about it. I just wanted to mention that because this is a big deal if it's true. And then also, I kind of wanted to ask you guys that are watching the video, if it's true and Tom King, eventually he will step off Batman, so no matter what, when he steps off Batman, who do we replace him with? Right? As much as I love Tomasi, I don't want Tomasi to be writing 2 Batman books. I don't want the Bendis issue again. It's wrong for Bendis. It's wrong for everyone. But who do we want to see? It's not going to be Scott Snyder, right? He had his huge Batman run. He's doing Justice League right now. I think he's done with Batman for quite a while. Who goes on it? I mean, my first choice, if I'm top dog at DC, is I'm putting Robert Venditti on. I'm saying, Robert, you're doing Hawkman, you're doing Batman, and then we'll keep you free to do like a third project, like miniseries, side project stuff. But you're going to have 2 ongoing titles. That's what I would do as a big editor. I would be going for him. But I just have this feeling like that's not going to be the case. I did tweet out to Jim Lee that they need to start putting Venditti on bigger projects because he's a huge talent. And you're going to end up losing him if you don't start treating him good. And I don't want Hawkman to fail, and I don't want him to leave that. But if he can make his money on Batman and still continue to do Hawkman justice, and Hawkman could actually be brought up. People will read Batman, and they'll be like, wow, this is amazing. And then we can go, yeah, that guy that you love doing Batman, he's also doing Hawkman. You should check it out. People will be like, oh, Hawkman's stupid. I know, but you look at how good okay, I'll give it a try. And then win-win, boost sales, right? Wow. Hey, Batman, Hawkman crossover, help people get attention. Anyways, that's who I'd want to see. Jeff Johns is kind of a no-brainer. He's wrapping up. A lot of people say he's actually done with Doomsday Clock, so then he's only doing Shazam. He says he wants to do more writing. He is doing a side project, The Three Jokers, which is a Batman-related project. That would be an amazing thing, too. I'd love to see Jeff Johns get back, steer the ship right, in conjunction with Tomasi being on the other book. Holy shit. Those are 2 kind of dream picks, but I just have a feeling like we're not going to get that. So then what do you get? And some people will be like, oh, whatever we get is going to be better than Tom King. I can hear Sergeant Bat saying that right now. And maybe that's true. But just because it's better than something that's really bad doesn't make it good, right? Batman, we want to see treated really good. And they've already got Jurgens' hands full, so it's not going to be him. I don't know. Put down your ideas, guys. Tell me what you would like to see be on Batman, not just for your dream picks per se, but what do you think is like a rational pick? If you were an editor and say like, well, I can't just put anyone I want. I got to pick who's free, what makes sense for the line. I'd like to hear. I'm really curious to see. I'm sure you guys can come up with ideas that I haven't thought of. And then finally, going back to dragons, we got to just talk about Game of Thrones real quick. Here, I'll focus on Stan because he has nothing to do with Game of Thrones. A dragon, even though this is an Oriental dragon, I do like Western and Eastern dragons. Game of Thrones. I just need to get this out there. I was going to do a video, and I'm like, no, there's fucking so many videos. And look, I just want to get this out. Game of Thrones, I love it. It's the best TV show I've ever watched. Hands down, number 1. I don't even think my second favorite choice comes close. And my second favorite choice might be The Shield. If you've never watched The Shield, holy shit, 7 seasons of... Anyway, Game of Thrones. A lot of controversy, a lot of people fucking reeing like it's Trump being reelected. Reeing like it's fucking Last Jedi. In my personal opinion, I think we just live in an entitlement era where we're outraged about everything. It's just the way our society is kind of going. Everything is either 5 stars or it's 1 stars. Nothing is ever just, it was kind of good, or I really liked it, but there was a lot of failures too about it that bugged me. I rarely hear that anymore. So many people are just like, it fucking sucks. This is the worst shit ever. Or they absolutely loved it. I'm a huge fan of Game of Thrones. I really think this last season was fantastic. There were things about it I didn't like. The episodes did not go the way that I wanted them to. In my mind, I had worked out ways that I would have structured the plot and things that I would have done, and I think some of those ideas were pretty good. Obviously, I'm biased, but I think those would have been amazing if it would have turned out that way, but it didn't. That being said, I've chewed it over, slept on it, thought about it. What do I like? I've talked with my friends. What do they think about the episode? How do they interpret it? I got some different feedback, different perspectives that allowed me to see the episodes in different lights. And the more I think about it, the more I really am starting to really like it. I think the ending is fitting. I'm a huge, huge fan of Arthurian mythos. My favorite telling of the Arthur legend is Excalibur, the movie from the 80s. And this had an homage type feeling of that. It ends in tragedy. And I don't think Game of Thrones should have ended like a fairy tale happy ending. It needed to end in tragedy. George R. R. Martin had been quoted years ago, people saying, if you think this is going to end with a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention. I think there's a lot of outrage for this show with people not getting the ending they want. Now, when I confront people about it, a lot of people argue and go, no, it just was bad writing. Okay, whatever. These guys that have been writing the show for this whole time all of a sudden went from astounding writers writing the best show ever to not being able to write and need to be replaced. They got lazy. I suppose that's possible they got lazy. I don't really think so because they're trying to catapult their careers off of this. They weren't really anyone before this show. And screwing up one of the biggest shows of all time is not a really good way to put on your resume. I'm the guy, we got lazy and fucked up Game of Thrones. Hire us for your next project. I don't think that's the case either. I genuinely think, and again, I'm biased because I really do like the season, and there are things I can sit here and criticize with. If anyone wants to talk about it, I'm open to talk. There are failings of it. I'm not like looking through rose-colored glasses and saying it's the most... I love it. There's some flaws. I accept these flaws. Overall, it's fantastic to me. Now, you don't have to like it. You can hate it. You can be mad. That's totally fair. I'm not here to argue or try to convince you to like it. And like I said, I am more than happy to just have an open, fun conversation if anyone's interested. But more just to get my point out there, just to get my feelings. What did you think, Ash? So, because I don't really get to. Anytime I go on social media, if I talk to someone, it just triggers people. They get upset. Quit pushing you're just trying to like. I'm not trying. I've been accused of trying to like things that other people don't like so that I can be like this guy saying, oh, I'm better than other people because I like something that most people don't. That's absolutely not the case. It actually is a huge, huge bummer for me that I can't share the joy. I was looking forward to having this ending and everyone enjoy us and being like, it was so amazing. And I want to talk about it and geek out with everyone, but I can't geek out. Instead, I'm making a video pointed at a monster can, just explaining how I felt because I don't have anyone to talk about other than, my direct friends. But they're not geeked out about it like I am. So this is kind of pathetic for me. And you've been here for 18 minutes and I haven't even talked about comics. So let's get on with the poll. Boom. Move iPad. Don't want to drop that on the floor. That'd be terrible. That's an expensive toy. As always, here's my receipts. Not that expensive. This was a small week, but I am trying to keep it under $30. $120 a month on comics is a lot. An industry that expects that out of their customers needs to be doing way better. There was a guy I told you about, the whale at my store, who buys a short box every time. He's been gone. He's been out of town for a month. So I saw him in the store today, and they had all his stuff, and it was just oh my, he had to buy a long box today. Imagine that, a long box for 1 month of comics. But this is a guy who's a big collector, and he's got the money for it, and it's great. He was a really nice guy. I had a conversation with him today. It was fun. Now, what am I doing? So, let's talk about, first comic is Flash 71. I pull the alternate covers. I kind of wish for year one I wasn't, but I've already started, so I'm committed. I am committed. Sorry for the glare. Anyways, yeah, this is finally the first issues of Flash that I've actually did a review on Flash 70. So normally I pull this for my friend's daughter, blah, blah, I don't read it. But now I'm reading it. So you can watch my review. a Flash 70. Spoiler, it's pretty good. It's a perfect jumping on point for anyone who doesn't read Flash. If you're like, I don't really know anything about Flash, right now, 70, year one. Here's the beginnings of Flash. I thought Silencer was canceled. It is canceled. But I thought it was like 16 was last. It's not. But I believe silenced is that. That's the tongue-in-cheek way of, hinting. It's done. I do believe this is the last issue. It's possibly 18 is. Really sad. It really sucks to pick up comics that are canceled, but you're just like waiting for it to die. It's like it's on its deathbed, and then you're coughing up $4 for a comic that's not going to continue. It just feels disheartening. Speaking of disheartening, Martian Manhunter. I really enjoy this comic. I've been doing reviews on it, so you can follow it. The art is a big turnoff to a lot of people, but honestly, I love these covers. And Riley Rossmo is a really good person for this twisted type shit. I think he could be a good Venom artist, potentially. When he's drawing regular humans, it's like too goofy and weird, but when he's drawing non-humanoid stuff, it's pretty twisted and cool. And Steve Orlando is doing a really cool detective story on this. I really am enjoying the talk. I'll do a review. Freedom Fighters, this is Venditti. I talked about him at length already. I am enjoying Freedom Fighters on a, how do I say it? It's a very just old school style comic, right? It's not trying to be deep in its message. It's just about heroes fighting dastardly villains, and that's it. Like, it's just good old school Nazis fighting the Nazis, right? Like, and it's not, you hear like, oh, Nazis, everyone cringes modern day. No, it's not. It is old school, like Hitler Nazis. It's if the Nazis had won World War II, it's an alternate history. So it's real Nazis, and it's not, there's no plugs or not even mentions of like modern day politics, right? It's good old patriotic fun. This is the way Captain America should be. Too bad it's not. Sorry, Cap fans. Then we get Justice League Dark. Started finally reading my backlog of Justice League Dark, and it's a cool comic. By the way, you can follow that on my Discord channel. I have added a channel on there. Sorry, on the Discord server, I added a channel for what I'm reading, and any comics that I'm reading that I'm not necessarily reviewing, mostly back issues, I'm going to just kind of mention and talk about. I really like Justice League Dark. I was surprised. And then, dun, dun, dun. Yes, that was Dumb. Action Comics 1011. I did a review of 1010, and it was actually good. I gave it a positive review, unbelievably. Unexpectedly, Bendis every once in a while does something good. It's like a broken clock. That's Bendis. Bendis is a broken clock. Twice a day, he can be okay. I'll be open-minded. See my review of Superman, however. Ooh, it's a spicy meatball. And then I just read Detective 1003. I'm really enjoying Tomasi. He's writing fun Batman comics. I'm really enjoying this new villain. I'm not one of those fans of the old school rogues gallery of Batman villains. I like the more modern characters, kind of like Bane and beyond. So it's cool to see something new. And, I'm not against the old characters, but they're just kind of cornbally to me. They're created for a different era, a different time that I don't relate to. So that's just my feelings. It's a good book. And Tomasi just knows how to write Batman. He knows how to write Damian. And even a guy like me who doesn't like Robin, I love the book. And then finally, radically rearranged Ronin Ragdolls. What? So I saw this when I was going through the new comics coming out. And yes, there's a reason why it looks like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is a variant cover by Stan Sakai, who is the man, one of the best comics ever. Usagi Yojimbo, which comes out in 2 weeks. New Usagi Yojimbo series. This is done by Kevin Eastman, written and illustrated by Kevin Eastman. And yes, it's very much in the vein of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, except they're cats. And I had to buy this. The cover is the art you see, Stan Sakai is never disappoints. There's like 5 variants. I was like, Jesus, this comic probably has a print run of like a couple thousand. It's got 5. Anyways, Bats we'll see if Bats picks this up. I don't know what Bats' pull list is. He loves Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles probably even more than I do. And he likes cats. So we'll see if he picks this up. I don't know if he knows that this is Kevin Eastman, written and drawn. These are the creators, Shane and Paul Bookman. They're not the actual people that did the book. I don't actually know the history of this. I think there is some history. I'm going to look into it, but I was like, it's only $3.99. I was flipping through this book. It's thick. The page quality is amazing. The covers are like this really thick gloss. I was really expecting when I flipped the book over to get the price to see like $5.99 or something, because a lot of times independents are just more expensive because they don't have the big print runs anyway. $3.99. So this brings me back full circle to what I was talking about in the beginning about indie comics. Now, Clint from Sweetcast is a big promoter of indie comics. It's no wonder. He is an indie comic creator himself. And he supports other creators like him that are producing these Indiegogo books. Now, I wish them all the best luck in the world. I want them to make a ton of money. But I'm speaking purely as a consumer here, not as a comic creator. I want to buy comics from stores. This book is an independently created. As I was saying before my phone so rudely died, how dare you, battery, run out of juice. This is an independent comic, and this is what I want to see the industry do. Indiegogo comics, there's a comic on Indiegogo that I genuinely wish I could support. It sounds great. And I'm not going to name the name of it here because I'm going to speak negative about it for a second. The comic itself looks great. And I'm a big fan of the artist. And I don't know anything about the writer, but the idea, the pitch, is a great pitch. So I'm sold, and I would give him a chance. The world sounds amazing. I went to the Indiegogo. To get a copy of this comic shipped to me was $47. $47. Now, it's a graphic novel, Ash. It's a 48-page book. That's basically 2 comics. $4. $47. I wish them all the success in the world. Sell your books, make millions of dollars. But that is not the comic industry, right? That's the sports car industry, right? You're selling Ferraris. That's fine. Some people have $250,000 million to spend on a car. I don't. Even if I did, I wouldn't spend $1 million on a car. It's outrageous to me, right? I can't. That's not me. I want to spend $50,000 or less on a car. My dream car actually is less than $50,000. Maybe I'll mention that on it. Well, maybe I don't know if I could actually get one for less than 50. The sticker price is less than 50. So this is my thing. I can support indie comics. I do support indie comics. Here I am buying. You saw my receipt. I bought this comic. It's $4 in the store. Now, is Kevin Eastman going to make as much money as Ethan Van Sciver did on Cyberfrog? No, it's not. Is he going to make even as much as Jawbreakers? No, he's not. But if all you're doing is utilizing a platform as a way to extort higher profit margins from fans, then your motivations for how you conduct business are not any more noble than what current comic industry is doing with their fleecing their fans. And I'm not accusing anyone. I'm not saying that. I'm speaking hypothetically. So, that being said, I'll let you know how this comic is. This cover is not super indicative because it's Stan Sakai Usagi. I was like debating. I was like, should I get this? I like Kevin Eastman a lot. And then I saw it. I was like, oh, sold. Give me Usagi Yojimbo. And I have to cover Usagi Yojimbo some. I've never really talked about him on my show because he doesn't have a comic right now. But this is one of my all-time favorite comics ever. Ever, ever, ever. Up there with X-Men. Like it, yeah. So thank you guys for watching. This has been an incredibly long episode. I've talked before. I also have some questions for you about the comics, and I'm thinking about changing this up into being not just being a comic pull list video, but being like an episode thing once a week. Do about 30-minute episode talking about whatever's on my mind about comics, also talking about what I pulled, basically the new comic book day Ash on Comics episode. I don't know. Tell me if you support that idea, even if you don't like how it's currently like what I did here. Say, I like the idea, but do it this way instead. Or, I like this idea, whatever. Or it's a terrible idea. Whatever it is, tell me below what you think. There's also a possibility that I could just do like the long form format. And then for those people who are like, I don't give a shit about what you have to say about comics, I'm just here for the pull list, do a short Davis Onowich style video where I just like, here's my comics, boom, you're out in 2 minutes. I could do something like that too. If you don't know who Dave is, he does Back Issue Binge. He just started a new channel. Go check him out. And thank you so much for watching. Close out here with a little close-up of one of the best comic characters ever created, Usagi Yojimbo. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.